Amethyst started 40 years ago as a place where women could go. It wasn't funded by any government, and it was grassroots by the women in the community who knew that women needed a space that was women-centered.
Women were yet again, with new services, addiction services, sort of taking a back seat. And the whole question of breaking the silence and women running their own show and taking control and doing it our way. And there were, at the time, there were feminists all over the place who wanted to be part of all that. And it was, again, women coming together and critiquing what psychiatry was doing.
And the industry, pharmaceutical industry.
And the pharmaceutical industry.
The other thing is, in the 1970s, focus was on women saying, I don't like what's going on in my life and it doesn't seem right. And they found with research that it was really true that women were being drugged because they were unhappy. 70% of all antidepressants were given to women. It was well documented. When they went to the doctor, if they were in an abusive relationship, it was take a Valium. And women said, this isn't the way it should be. There's got to be another way. They, of course, found out very quickly that Valium is highly addictive. So then they got addicted to drugs besides not having their daily life problems dealt with. The ordinary institutions were not able to understand the standpoint of women and where they were coming from, so they used the traditional kind of medications to treat their problems and anxieties.
It was being recognized that women had been oppressed over centuries and that we had to do it differently. So, I don't know, there was a passion in those days on the part of many of us, where sort of with little money, with lots of courage and new ideas, things like Amethyst finally came into being.
Our first place was in Parkdale, next to a church, and then we went to Queen Street. And when we moved to Queen Street, it was at that point in time that we decided that we needed our own space that we could decorate and make it women friendly, which had a kitchen and had a really beautiful space where the women could come, and even if they needed to, could just go into one of the group rooms when they weren't there and could just relax.
Le centre est important pour la communauté d'Ottawa parce qu'on offre des services uniques, individualisés pour les femmes. Le seul service qui est de jour, en effet, pour femmes qui souffrent de problèmes de jeu ou de toxicomanie.
Amethyst, c'est un centre très important pour les femmes parce que c'est le seul grand centre ici à Ottawa qui sert les femmes qui sont aux prises avec la toxicomanie. Et comme je fais la promotion de la santé, j'ai fourni des ateliers à travers toute la ville d'Ottawa et je vois vraiment combien les femmes sont en besoin avec avoir des gens qui puissent parler de leur vie, qui puissent avoir une écoute à leurs défis de tous les jours et surtout de pouvoir recevoir les outils qui peuvent les aider à faire face aux défis de tous les jours.
Well, there's numerous reasons why I think Amethyst is really important. A, it's a women-only space, and I think that women need, beyond doubt, to have their own space without males in it. Because the safety factor is there. And how can they talk about abuse, sexual abuse, any type of abuse, father, brother, whatever, if they're in a space where males are. So I think it's really, really important that women have their own space that is women-centered.
Les problématiques des femmes sont uniques à elles et aussi elles se sentent beaucoup plus à l'aise avec un service qui est réservé seulement aux femmes.
Pour nous, on a dans notre philosophie, la toxicomanie, c'est une façon de s'adapter pour les femmes. C'est un mécanisme d'adaptation. Et souvent, on voit que les problèmes qui amènent les femmes à consommer est tout à fait différent des problèmes qui mènent les hommes à consommer, et les études l'ont démontré.
And I think there's a tendency by some people today to say that women have already achieved equality, so that's not something we need to discuss anymore. And I fundamentally disagree with that. I think it's an illusion of equality. Some things have improved, of course, but there's no fundamental equality. And until we understand how, it's more subtle now. So you can't see it as obviously as in the past in some ways. Some things are still quite clear. So that's why that analysis and understanding of a woman's experience needs to be deconstructed with her together, because she may not even understand it herself.
C'est pour cela que je trouve que pour donner cette liberté aux femmes de pouvoir discuter de leurs problèmes avec toute aisance, sans pour autant craindre les hommes qui sont parfois les causes de leur consommation soient là.
Women have different issues which are specific just to women, I believe, and I don't feel like I'm judged here. It's an open environment, open space.
As far as it helping in the community, of course, we have hundreds of women that come through our agency every year, and we make it a point to talk to the women and to find out what's best for them. And in the 30 years that I have been here, our program has changed. It has diversified, and we use best practices in that the women, we ask the women what it is that they need that they're not getting, and we try to integrate that into our program.
I mean, there's just so many amazing programs, different programs that, you know, the one-on-one, the group, you know, the intensive, as I've said, there's lots of different things here, even social nights. I know I've brought my kids here for Christmas parties, you know, and that was a good thing too. Or craft days, making art, you know, all sorts of different things, really.
I volunteer as a board member with Amethyst because as an immigrant woman myself, I came into Canada 20 years ago, and various organizations that helped in ensuring that I had a smooth transition into the new culture and the new country when I came into Canada. So 20 years after having gone through lots of different jobs, and also having got into a stage where I feel that I need to give back to the community, I decided to go on to Volunteer Ottawa, and I came across Amethyst, and it struck me as an organization that I really wanted to volunteer for, mainly because of the fact that it was a women's addiction center, and they were offering services specifically for women.
What's touched me about Amethyst is both about my personal growth, being able to work in a feminist collective and being able to learn so much over the years from my working environment in a collective, a unique collective. Also learning from the women who come and use our services and watching them blossom, I think, is probably the word that I would describe. So coming in very timid, very scared, and watching that self-esteem growing, and just more than confidence. It's hard to describe, and it's different for every woman, but that's one of the very important things that has touched me here.
I feel less judgment, I feel at home. You know, that's one of the things that I really like about Amethyst is that, well, first of all, I like it's a home, it's a house, and it feels very comfortable to me. You know, it just feels like when you come in this place, it's like a big hug. That's how I feel about, you know, Amethyst. Just very cozy, and have a cup of tea, and it's just, I always leave feeling better than when I arrive, and even when I'm arriving and I feel fine, I always feel better. So Amethyst has been a very safe place for that.
In Ottawa, it was a place that I felt comfortable coming to. It had to be a place that I wanted to come to. At the other time, there were other service agencies that I could have gone to, but I knew that I didn't want to because Ottawa is fairly small, and at that time I wanted to protect my anonymity as much as possible because I was still working as a service worker within a nonprofit organization. So I wanted to keep that angle to myself, but then I found Amethyst and I really liked it. I liked the building, I liked the people that were here, and I connected to the counselor that I was working with. So for me, that helped a lot. If I felt comfortable, then I was definitely going to come back and continue, and I did. So
it was also an important part of my life. Working here at Amethyst, following that for many years after as you know, a group counselor, was also probably a big part of my healing, to stay connected.
I would like to say a big thank you to the staff here at Amethyst. The women, like I said, they're amazing, they're dedicated and hardworking. And also to all the members of the board of directors. We're all women, and they've taken so much time out of their free time to volunteer here at Amethyst.
Keep in focus feminist ways of working, because if you work together in a feminist way, it's the way you work with your clients, and so it reinforces the need to always be that listener, to be empathetic, to be understanding, to look for solutions, and to have a critical mind too. What is the problem? What is the client's problem? What is happening in society that is leading to that experience that a woman is having? Because obviously 40 years later, what women are experiencing on the street, frankly, I wouldn't know because I'm too old to understand that. But that whole process of listening to those women who are experiencing those things and to learn from them, so that it's a two-way street. It's not, I have a service that I will give to you, but you have a problem, and you and I together will look at how we can solve that problem, be creative in that way.
There's so many other people out there that if I could refer all the people that I meet that I think, oh, they could really benefit from the services of Amethyst, you know, the place would be bustling more than it is.
This place did save my life. It really did. It's really magic that happens in these rooms. It really is magic.